Namaste, Vasha this side. And I know it's been really long since I met you guys. So today I have a very interesting topic to discuss about, and that is closure. Why closure is important in any relationship. So we all have had our share of relationships, and here, when I refer to relationships, it doesn't mean that it is only romantic relationships we are referring to. We are also referring to platonic ones, or maybe the relationships which we share with our parents, children, cousins, colleagues, and all that. Okay. So now, why is closure important? And if you don't give closure, what happens? So that is the thing which we are going to discuss today through this video. Now, please understand that in any relationship, whether we like it or not, whether we intend or not, we do get into moments where we feel attached emotionally to people, right? So when we don't give closure, there are a lot of things which happen, with you, with that person. And when we say a lot of things, that means there are different aspects. What happens to you physically, emotionally, spiritually, sexually. There are so many aspects of anybody's life or, body. So now I have noted about 10 points, and as always, I have my notes with me. So I'm just going to take that one by one, and I really appreciate your patience. And please understand that this video is not created to target someone or any one of you. It is just my research work and whatever I've understood through my journey. So this video has no relation with anyone, living or dead, okay? So please take what resonates, and if you don't like something, just ignore that. So because I feel that not everything in this video is for every one of you, right? So let's come to the first point. Now, the first point which I have written is it allows you to get answers to your questions so that you can understand why your ex decided to end the relationship. See, when somebody gives a closure or when we close that chapter, of course, it gives us the time to understand that why at all, we had to separate. So, for that, closure is required, right? The second point, it helps you learn from the mistakes and avoid making the same mistakes in the next relationships. Now, what are mistakes? See, I don't categorize actions, like I do not generalize things, because something which may be a mistake for you, probably it seems good to me, right? So here we are discussing about patterns, behavior, the way we spoke to our ex or the way we treated them. So maybe there are certain things which we need to change in ourselves so that the next successive relationships do not have to go through the same cycle of pain and torture. Understood? So we'll move on to the third point now. That is, finding closure allows you to move on and accept that you are not getting back with your ex. That is very important because nobody wants to be hurt repeatedly, right? So, when we have learned our lessons with our respective partners, we must close the chapter and move on to the next chapter of our lives. Okay, so when the closure happens, we also understand that we need to move on and we should not go back to the same person because the same mistakes or the same patterns will be repeated, right? Either knowingly or unknowingly, either intentionally or unintentionally, right? We'll move on to the fourth point. You can see the mistakes you made and acknowledge that you played a role in the breakup. Yes, we all have our share of contribution. When we are learning lessons or the other person is learning lessons with us, so we can acknowledge our role as a learner, as a giver in that particular relationship when the closure happens, right? Now, the next point is you can get things off your chest and make amends by apologizing to them. See, first and foremost, we need to apologize to ourselves. We need to forgive ourselves so that we raise our vibration to a level where we feel that, okay, now we are ready to, ask for apology from the other person, right? So, apologize to we need to apologize to ourselves first, and then we need to ask for apology from the other person, and then we can also share our thoughts in person with the person that, okay, this is where I was hurt. You owe an apology. So whether that person apologizes or not, that is his free will. We cannot force. But we definitely need to put this forward in front of him or her that, look, this is where I was hurt. And if I have ever hurt you, please forgive me. But this is where you really owe an apology. And then just leave it. If that person is sane enough, mature and grounded enough to understand what damage that person has caused you, that person will definitely apologize to you. And that is where the real closure happens. When the apology is happening and you're accepting it wholeheartedly. Now, the sixth point. You can end the relationship on good terms so that you don't hate each other and don't feel guilty. See, we also need to understand that hatred, guilt, all these virtues create further karmic cycles. So closure is important so that you don't feel guilty, right? You don't feel that, okay, like, I shouldn't have done this, and then you start beating around the bush. No, nothing ever happens, which we cannot, I would say, heal or clear, right? So here we need to understand that we also have this moral responsibility to end a relationship in good terms. You don't have to be rude, you don't have to be angry, but doesn't mean that you don't have the right to be angry. No, it is your right. If you feel there is a lot of anger or hurt, sadness or grief, you have all the right in this world to tell that person, look, dude or dudette, you have done this to me and I do not appreciate this. So you better apologize whenever you feel ready. I am in no hurry to get an apology from you, and just move on. Okay, close the chapter. The seventh point. Getting closure helps you make sense of what really happened instead of wondering and overthinking. See, if we don't get closure, we all tend to overthink and we keep revisiting the past. We replay the memories, which becomes very painful, isn't it? And we don't do it deliberately, it just happens. It's like a defense mechanism. Okay, should I, what would have happened if I would have done that? Why all this happened with me? So, all that dialogue, that inner dialogue, monologue is not required. It hurts you more. So, closure helps you to understand what really happened instead of overthinking or feeling guilty or, unnecessarily blaming yourself, right? The eighth point, why we need a closure or why should we give closure? When you understand why the relationship didn't work out, you can learn more about yourself and figure out what you want from life and your next relationship. It's a very important point, and you can again go back to this video, rewind, and listen to it. We actually try to understand what we want, what is our requirement, whether it is emotional, whether it is physical, whether it is sexual, whether it is spiritual, whether it is financial, right? So we understand our needs in a better way when we have closed a chapter properly, right? And permanently, which is again very important. The ninth point. Without closure, you might keep believing that there are chances your ex will come back and take you back someday. Yeah, we all have that feeling that what if probably a reconciliation is possible, probably reunion is possible, probably that miraculous visit or call or message is possible. Of course it is possible, but we are not learned enough or wise enough to know what is there in the soul contract with that person, right? So rather than overthinking and overanalyzing and over expecting, we can always come to the conclusion that, okay, my part is over. If it is meant to be, that person will make efforts. I am not going to go back to this again to get hurt. Clear? Okay, so we'll go back to the 10th point now, which is the last. Getting closure can help you avoid projecting past hurts onto your future partner, which is very important. I've seen even in cases of second marriage or third marriages, people unknowingly and unintentionally, start projecting their past hurts onto their future partners or the current partners, right? Now, we also need to understand, of course, we may be hurting inside of us, but there is a way you can always release your hurts, your pain, your grief, your sadness so that you don't screw yourselves up in your next successive relationships and you don't screw up the other person's peace of mind, right? So now I'm done with the notes, the points which I had, jotted down through research, through different websites and books, and probably Instagram reels. But now I also need you to understand that when you say, or when I say that you need to give a closure or you need to receive a closure, closure means completely blocking that person from your life. Don't do this, that okay, we are now friends. No, that doesn't help. The energies of the previous relationship or the role which you shared, it never fades, it never heals. If you are together like friends or like colleagues or anything, you have to end it. If you want to really heal yourself and you want to attract a stable and a beautiful relationship, you have to end the contact completely. Delete their number, block their social media, do not go back to them in any way. You don't have to message, like, or share any contents they have been sharing on social media. You don't have to ask any common friends about them. That is a complete closure. And I have believed in that, and I have seen some profound results and shifts in my life and in my clients' lives. So I hope, like my previous videos, even this video has helped you and assisted you in the best possible way. If you have questions, you already know my email ID by now. So please, you can email me or you can look for me on my social media handles and I'll definitely assist you there. Thank you so much for being so patient and for supporting me as always. All my love to you. Namaste.